What is going on, everybody? We are back with another video, and today the 1.3 patch notes have dropped. We just reviewed them on stream earlier in the morning, giving our stream the very first look the second they became available. Thanks to Ubisoft and being a Ubisoft partner, they did share the patch notes with us a little bit early, and I got to share it with the stream as soon as we were allowed to speak about it. So if you want to find out any news about Skull and Bones first, make sure you come join us live on our stream Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. But we're going to go dive right into these patch notes. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. And here we are, the Skull and Bones 1.3 patch notes, ladies and gentlemen. Extension of season 1 is going to be extended by a week, giving it a total of 13 weeks now. We love that. We love that. Voice and text chat is finally coming. This is not the important stuff. Right, this is not the important stuff. I'll just scroll back up and ignore that. But yes, we're finally going to have voice and text chat, so let that commence. We already know that with this is going to bring an element of toxicity. It's just part of it. It's my opinion. You guys don't have to agree with me. But anybody who's played any kind of PvP based game knows that with voice and text chat comes a certain level of toxicity, right? So just be ready for it, expect it. Make sure you got those mature language filters on if you don't want to hear any of it. But there you go, it's finally coming. But the big news, the 1.3 game changer open world PvP is coming, ladies and gentlemen. This has been long awaited. We wanted this, we prayed for this, and the devs have heard our prayers. And here we go, we got it. Open world PvP outside of regular event modes. This is one of the first ways you can engage in PvP with others in open world. In the future, we hope to expand upon the use of PvP flags, but this is what we get right now. So essentially, players can now opt in for open world PvP through set sail screen before embarking from outpost and den. So they are not going to be able to join and then leave and then rejoin and then leave and all that kind of crap. They are going to be here. That's going to be set, and that's going to be it. Once they go back to the den, then they can remove their flag if they wish to do so. While players are flagged, they are going to be able to build kill streaks, and you'll be able to see it. Other players will be able to see it. They can be identified by a red skull icon beside their profile names. Hitting a group player will also do damage, so there is friendly fire if you're flagged. PvP flag on players are unable to deal damage to players with PvP off and vice versa, except if they're both participating in a common PvP activity, example cutthroat cargo. So obviously you opt in for, if you're not flagged but you opt in for cutthroat cargo, obviously you're still going to be able to be hit then. While players have their flag on, they can see all players with a PvP flag on as a red arrow on the map. So we're going to be able to see everybody who's flagged. And I think here, right here, they've updated the matchmaking criteria to account for the last selected PvP flag on or off preference. So basically the matchmaking now is going to allow us to be matchmaked with people who want to PvP, right? People who tend to be flagged PvP more often will matchmake with people who generally PvP. So you're gonna be able to experience more PvP in the game, which is just gonna lead to amazing naval combat. I can't wait for it. I know my PvP flag will be running pretty much 24/7. Very rarely will you see my PvP flag off, so I'm super excited for this. This has been something so many of us have been praying for and hoping for, and we finally got it, so I'm super excited for that. Players that are more inclined to PvP will have a higher likelihood of being matched to the same server and vice versa. Yeah. Updated damage metrics for PvP damage and repair affects all PvP, including open world PvP, cutthroat cargo, and helm wagers. And they added UI feedback for when a player target cannot be repaired by another player. Now, that being said, they've also eliminated the exploit that was happening a lot with people repairing out of PvP events. So essentially, somebody would start a helm wager, they would have a friend not in the helm wager, and they would just be chain healing them without anybody being able to attack them or do anything about it. Obviously, securing a win. You get like a good player in any ship that's got a bark that's just constantly healing them. There's not going to be much you can do about that, but they've got rid of that now. So if your friend is in an event and you are not going to be able to heal them, right? So if they are in an event and you are not in an event, you do not get to heal. Even if your PvP flag is on and you're not in that event, you cannot heal them. Simple as that. So super happy to see that. Feel free to take a look at the damage and repair targets, how you're going to be able to damage players in that. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. Feel free to pause the video. Gameplay updates, improve the visual clarity of the rocket aiming reticle. Thank you. Anybody who's rocked rockets knows how much of a pain that reticle is compared to like the mortar. So super excited to see that. Reduce the duration of the torn sales effect from the Brigantine's Bullhorn perk from 80% to 40%. Pretty significant. Duration of torn sales is going to be increase the duration to 10 seconds and the slow multiplier of torn sales from 0.5 to 0.66. This is massive, and we're going to come back to this in a second, so just remember that this has been changed and increased, right? Gear score also, it's made it much easier to hit ship rank 12. I'm not going to go through every point here. You guys can read it, pause the video if you need to. The big ones being that the threshold has been reduced from 1670 to 1630. The snow has increased the ship rank itself has increased from 560 to 570, and then a bunch of the different weapons have been increased. Big one being Skurlock's Long Nines and Rama's Legacy went from 110 to 120. The Carronade of the Blue Spectre went from 120 to 125, and then all the other like common, uncommon, rare tiers of basically everything has been increased by a couple scores as well. So that's going to be awesome to get more people into ship rank 12 and closer to 13. So I was hoping to see a 13 announcement with this. I feel like with these changes we would be able to hit 13, but they don't make any mention of it, so I'm going to assume that we're still only capped at 12. Previously, Cutthroat Cargo was one of the few ways players could be exposed to PvP activities, hence it was designed to be an accessible PvP game mode with an open world PvP now available. We're making Cutthroat Cargo fairer by restricting fast travel and participation after the activity has started. So Cutthroat Cargo, this is a huge change, and I know this is going to be a controversial one. There's going to be people on both sides of the fence on this one, but players can now only opt into the activity during the pre-activity countdown period. Players are unable to opt in after the activity has started, so no more ambushing. To go with that, participants are now unable to fast travel during the activity period of the activity. The active period, sorry, of the activity. So no more fast traveling, like judging where they are going, fast traveling to it, and then coming back to get into the fight. Now you need to opt in ahead of time. You all got to be waiting for the map, and you got to fight it out right from the get-go. They've also removed the speed debuff from Cutthroat Cargo, the Cutthroat Cargo Carrier. Now this is why I was telling you to remember these torn sales durations and increasing the duration and the slow multiplier. So you're going to see a lot more long 9 builds now to combat the Brigantines grabbing the map and running as quick as they can. You're going to see a lot more long 9s, Skurlock long 9s, and you're going to be going for those torn sales, knocking them down, keeping them down for longer with these new adjustments, and increasing the slow multiplier. They're going to be able to repair once with the restoration kit, but then that's going to be it. So there's going to be a lot of more naval combat and naval battles, and it's going to be really interesting to see the new builds that come out of it. I've already got a couple ideas that I'm working on. Stay tuned for more videos for that. Helm Wager removed the speed debuff and increased legendary heist chances of spawning. Pretty big. We like that. Again, I'm kind of interested to see the Helm Wagers with no other changes to the Helm Wager. What's gonna stop? I mean, I guess you could still fast travel on the Helm Wagers, from what it's saying here, right? So again, long 9 builds, try to get their mass down, stop them from moving, and then you're good to go. Some changes to La Peste, that's more PvE focused. Basically, they reduced the damage dealt by the explosive minion ships of La Peste, so a lot of people were basically using his own minions against him to get the sync. They state here that a rebalance was done. They were doing more damage than what they expected. The option to use the minion ship against La Peste still remains viable, but they did reduce the damage of it, so it might not be as quick to sync them, but it is still viable. Another huge change, the helm. So one big thing that they mention here is opportunities will continue to be generated for players that have owned all manufacturers. So if you've unlocked every manufacturer, you've got no more hostile takeovers, there's going to be some kind of opportunities. They don't really tell us what the opportunities are going to be or how they're going to affect it, or if they're going to be able to use your pieces of 8 now to do something else, but there's going to be some kind of opportunities that will continue to be generated for players that have owned all manufacturers. So that's exciting to see. It's not going to feel like the game ends once you get everything and then you've got nothing else to do. Some kind of opportunity is going to be available. And then they've increased the duration and storage space of all the manufacturing levels. So everything is funded for longer and you get a higher capacity other than level 10 still funded for the same with the same capacity. Super, like, I'm really happy to see this. Honestly, it's going to get people not having to feel the need to be funding all the time, and for those who have to work throughout the week, can't fund you know, the low level ones every 4 hours or whatever. By level 3 you're already at 6 hours. By level 4 you're at 12 hours. That's a whole workday easy. So by level 4 you're good to go with that, and you know, gaining a lot more pieces of it as well. So excited to see those changes as well. The contracts, I'm not going to go through all the contracts. You know, I'll leave it up here for a few seconds. You can pause the video, read through them if you like. All right, we will cover the inventory and trade. So they changed the default open behavior for silver pouches and chests to open all pouches and chests in the stack. Let's go. It's about time. We've been asking for this. You know, this whole patch, as I went through it the first time, the second time, the third time, earlier today on stream, and now again, it really shows that the devs are listening to us. They knew changes needed to be implemented, that there was some things that we were concerned with. And you know, we got the changes. They are listening and they are pushing it, and we love to see it. Added an option for players to cycle inventory while in NPC shops and outposts and dens, allowing players to buy, sell items directly from their warehouse. So no more do we have to carry the commodities on us to be able to sell them anymore. We can cycle right to our warehouse at any shop and be able to sell our commodities or whatever else we want to sell. Huge one on that. Very nice quality of life improvement. But Ubisoft, hear me out. We need more warehouse space. We need more warehouse space. That's great that we can cycle to our warehouse, but for those of us, not only content creators, but all the like collectionists out there that like to collect everything and hoard everything and everything like that, there's just not enough warehouse space. We need more. Give us more warehouse space, please. We're begging you. At least I'm begging you. Feel free to leave it in the comment if you think we got more than enough warehouse space. But I believe, and I know my community on Twitch also says the same thing. We need more warehouse space. It's one of the things I get brought up the most. So would have loved to see that in there. It's not, but hey, at least we have an improvement to the way we can sell things and reduce what we need to carry on our ship. Delayed activity notifications in several menus. So the big giant notifications that come up that say hostile takeover or legendary heist or whatever is available that blocks your menus whenever you're trying to collect pieces of aid or you're trying to set sail or anything like that. They've delayed it so that when you're in that menu, nothing will pop up. But when you leave that menu, it sounds like everything's going to pop up. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But hey, it's something. They did something, and I'm happy with something rather than nothing. I feel like it would have been a lot easier to take it from the top left or like sort of middle left where it is that covers all the menus and just move it to the top center. There is nothing that occupies that space ever that is important in the game. There's nothing in the top center that ever is of any significant importance. None of the menus are there. There's literally like nothing in that top center. So just move it. I feel like that would be easier than adding a delay code to delay it when we're in a menu, as opposed to just be like whoop and moving it up, right? Could be crazy. I'm not a dev. I don't know. But to me, it seems like a much easier permanent solution. As they say, we're aware that more can be done to address the overlapping notifications and menus, but we're introducing these quick changes while we work on a long-term solution. So I think the long-term solution is just move it up to the center, make it a little bit smaller. Done. Good to go. But again, not a dev. I get it. Prevented objective tracker from automatically closing if the player manually opened it for various activities. So like that, the quest tracker, right? If you're trying to see how many players are joining like a La Peste hunt, or if you're trying to see how many people are in a hostile takeover or whatever else as you're like approaching or whatnot, and you're, you know, the fact that it keeps auto closing could be an annoyance. So just a nice little quality of life thing that now if you open it to track something, it actually stays up until you close it again. Awesome. I'm a big fan of that. That was open long enough so you can see. Oh, this is another big one that I almost skipped past here, but remove the report player button in voyage ended screens. So there was a lot of people, and if you spend any time on oh my god, Reddit, there we go, on the subreddit of Skull and Bones, you will see how this became a very big issue. There was a lot of people who would lose at a PvP battle, get upset about it, and then mass report the person who sunk them. Even though they didn't exploit, they didn't do anything wrong, they just lost the fight. And got people banned for no reason. So the devs note, based on player reports and data, we deemed that this option was being abused in some scenarios, leading to unfair bans. Players are still able to report players for legitimate reasons through the social menu. So they just made it harder to report people, which I think is very, very smart, because it's silly for people to get banned for no good reason just because somebody got skill diffed in a PvP. Again, gonna be controversial. I'll probably get some backlash in the comments, but that's the truth of the matter, right? I've been sunk plenty of times, and to date, I have reported one person that was doing the healing exploit with a helm wager, where they had their friend out of the PvP event, healing them in the PvP event. I can't do nothing to kill the healing ship, and the other person just gets unlimited healing, and it's just, there's nothing you can do about it, right? So now I've literally done one report. I've been sunk so many times, and if I get skill diffed, I get skill diffed. GG's, fucking keep going, right? So there's no reason to report somebody because they're better than you. It's just the fact of the matter. So I'm glad they fixed that. Huge quality of life thing here. Reduce the wind rotation speed and frequency. Wind now rotates by 50 degrees over 10 seconds at an interval of 180 seconds. So hopefully we won't be against the wind as much as we normally are. Fix an issue where Greek fire could unintentionally trigger the weak point damage multiplier multiple times. That's a big one. Very, very glad that they fixed that. I am going to leave this section up. I'm not going to go through all the graphics and activities and events. They did fix the footsteps audio issue again, potentially. They also said that like 2 patches ago and it didn't get fixed. So we'll see if they actually fixed it this time. But that was a pretty key one that I know was getting abused a little bit with the Greek fire. So glad to see that was fixed. There's also a bunch of contracts changes. I'll leave this up for you guys to read. I don't want to make this a 40-minute video, so try to keep it as short as possible and hit all the key points. So feel free to pause, check this out. Gonna move back down. Again, controls, graphics, you guys can read that. One of the helm points though, fixed an issue where the upgrade trade route efficiency was wrongly applied bonus additively rather than the addictive multiplicative bonus on each trade route bonus. Listen, words are hard, it's been a long day. So I'm curious how this is gonna affect Harufu. Is Harufu going to be nerfed now? That's kind of how I'm reading that. So I'm going to be interested to see exactly what this changes and how that changes. Bunch of other helm changes. The other big one is they fixed an issue where excessive amounts of helm materials were acquired after sinking roving supply ships. So gone are the days of just going up, sinking the helm ship and getting 600, 700, 800 resources. Because when you sunk them, you got more. They caught on to it, and they fixed it where you aren't going to get the excessive amounts of helm materials. Now they say where an excess of amounts of helm materials were acquired. So there may still be more helm materials that you will get. It just won't be as excessive as what it was, is how I read it. So we'll see how that situation plays out as well. Items and equipment, again, feel free to pause if you want to read all the points, but one of the big ones that I noticed was fix an issue where helm commodities were not correctly transferred when players attempted to transfer an amount of helm commodities that would exceed the inventory limit of the warehouse. So there was a bunch of people who were basically collecting all their stuff, right? And then it would all disappear. So they fixed that, hopefully, by the sounds of things, and it should be much, much better now. So that's good. UI, a bunch of UI fixes. Again, pause if you want to read them all. I don't want to make this a super long video. Want to keep you guys up to date on all the most important stuff, and just touch on some of these more broad changes that have happened. All right, and then down to the world and other fixes. So they fixed the periodic rotation of makeshift faction camps. So this was disabled before, where the camps would kind of move around. It was causing crashes. It's been fixed, and they're ready to re-enable the feature, so that's cool. Going to be more faction camps moving around. They fixed various gameplay exploits and various crashes. So there's been multiple exploits that we didn't already mention here. They've identified them and they've fixed them, so that's amazing to see. And they fix various crashes, which is always good, because nothing's worse than you being in the middle of some kind of run or an event or something like that, or you just finished a PvP battle or a cutthroat cargo, like what happened to me the other day. We were in like this nice long PvP battle, got the map, had got sunk in a previous in like one of the, you know, in the process of acquiring the cutthroat cargo, got sunk, left our stuff there to go pick up later, go and get the map, and as soon as we like redeem the map and go to set sail, the server crashes, you respawn into a new server and all your stuff's gone, right? Because that happens. So fixing the crashes, thank you. Is it going to fix every crash? Absolutely not, but it fixed the majority of them, and we are happy to see this. Now, these are previous versions that wasn't necessarily published, so pieces of ink can now be collected by players while they're in combat. Mostly everybody already knows this now. Not going to go through this again. You can pause if you want to read it. Most of us already know about all of these. But that is it. That is the end of the patch notes. So there you have it, guys. That is the 1.3 patch notes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I do. I'd love to hear what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know, and let's discuss it over there. If you made it this far, again, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Come join us over on Twitch Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern is start time, 5 days a week, and I will be your #1 source of information. As soon as the information is available, I will make sure that it is always in your guys' hand the second that I can share the information with you guys. So with that being said, guys, gals, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.